Hello there. Welcome to EBF 1313 Management. In this video, I would like to tell you with regards to the midterm assessment, or you might even want to call this midterm examination, and this will be done online. So this video would help you in your efforts to prepare for the midterm assessment. First of all, if you can get the course outline ready in front of you so that you can refer to the course outline, because I would be referring to the course outline when I talk about the midterm assessment. And also with regards to the chapter list of the free textbook which you can find on the e-link of EBF 1313. Okay, so let us begin. Now, first of all, this midterm assessment would be undertaken online, and this is due to the hassle, or rather, because I want to avoid the hassle of booking rooms and time for the physical or actual midterm, if that would be the case. So, to avoid all these hassle, I have decided that I would go for the online midterm assessment. Now, so I hope that because you are, well, most of you, I hope that you would not have any problem with the internet, because if you do, then my suggestion is that you need to come to the student lobby in our faculty. There the internet should be good, or should be even better than the internet maybe at your colleges or residential areas. Now, the midterm assessment would cover two course learning outcomes from the course outline. Now, I have discussed the course outline in the first week of class, so I will not discuss the course outline again. But here I just want to point out to you that the midterm assessment would cover, firstly, CLO 3, i.e., explain the principles, functions, and managerial processes of an organization. And then the midterm will also cover CLO 1, compare the historical development of management concepts to current modern concepts. So the two CLOs would be weighted as such. CLO 3 would be like 20 marks out of the 30 marks for the midterm. CLO 1 would be given like 10 marks out of the maximum 30 marks for the midterm. Now, what you need to do to prepare for the midterm would be, in the first instance, to make sure that you are keeping up with the readings. Okay, you must keep up with your readings. So looking here, okay, I'm looking at my computer screen here. Okay, you need to look at the free textbook, because that is the main reference for our that is used for this semester. The free textbook, the one that you can find the link in e-link. Okay, so you practically need to read, or should have been reading chapter 1, managing and performing, right? Chapter 4, external and internal organizational environments and corporate culture. And chapter 8, strategic analysis, understanding a firm's competitive environment. And chapter 9, strategic management process, achieving and sustaining competitive advantage. Now, these chapters represent the planning function of management. Just want to emphasize to you that in the contemporary management, planning function by itself encompasses leadership, right? Because somebody has to do the planning process, and that will be the leaders of the organization, leaders of the business organization, and even the structure or organization function of management, because the planning process needs to make sure that there is a structure within the organization to carry out the plan. And then even the control function is embedded in the planning process. So the planning process cannot be undertaken like in a vacuum. It has to encompass, it has to include all the other three functions of management. And that should be clear if you have been reading the chapters that are related to the planning function of management. The planning process itself requires leadership. The planning process itself requires organization, because you need to come up with an action plan. You need to come up with an action plan. You cannot leave planning process by itself without an action plan. And then with regards to the action plan, you need to make sure that there are control processes, control mechanisms to evaluate how well, how effective, and how efficient would be you, i.e., the leaders of the organization. How would, or how well, how effective, how efficient would the process of achieving the objectives stipulated in the plan would be. Therefore, planning process covers everything, right? Now, that is for the third CLO3. So that practically covers CLO3 of the course, right? Even though we are just focusing on the planning function, that itself covers everything, okay? That itself covers the principles, functions, and managerial processes of an organization. So you need to keep up with the reading. Now, the guiding principle of all these would be the two most important imperatives for business organization. Okay, so you need to make sure that you understand what are the two most important imperatives for business organization. That has been kind of or rather I have made efforts to go over these two imperatives over and over again in the class, right? So you need to make sure that you understand these or each of these two imperatives. These imperatives would be the guiding principle, okay, of all the other of the planning function and all the other functions of management. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are able to express, i.e., explain the two most important imperatives, and then to make sure then you understand why each of these two imperatives is important and why these two imperatives cannot be seen separately. They must be seen as being together. They must be undertaken simultaneously. That is very important, especially with regards, okay, to the second imperative, okay, the imperative of corporate social responsibility, in which you cannot see that imperative as being disconnected from the first one, i.e., the imperative of sustaining competitive advantage. Because without being able to sustain competitive advantage, the second imperative is meaningless. Okay, because we are seeing this from the point of view of business organization. Okay, right. So that covers CLO3. Okay, practically. Okay, the principles, functions, and managerial processes of an organization must be guided by that two most important imperatives of business organizations. Now, that is like 20 marks. So the 10 marks, the next 10 marks out of the 30 marks will be that of CLO1, i.e., comparing the historical development of management concepts to current management concepts. Now, this CLO is kind of a new CLO. Last year, we don't have this CLO, but for whatever reason, that CLO has been included. And okay, because for practical reasons, I have decided that to assess this CLO, i.e. CLO1, that will be during the midterm assessment. Now, CLO1 requires you to compare the historical development of management concepts to current modern concepts. Now, this is quite difficult, I understand. Okay, for you and even for me, because this is a tall order, but nevertheless we have to do this because that is stipulated in the course outline. So what happened here is that for this CLO, you are highly advised to read, to make sure that you are reading the leadership chapters from the textbook. Okay, the leadership chapters. Okay, that would be chapter 13. Chapter 13, the primary central chapter that discusses leadership. Okay, of course it would be good if you can read chapter 2, because chapter 2 talks about managerial decision making, but chapter 2 would be relevant for the final exam. Okay, chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2 will be relevant for the final exam, but for whatever reason I have designated this chapter as part of the leadership learning unit. So, but make sure you make all efforts to read chapter 13. And of course, if you are reading the other textbooks, okay, such as Plunkett and Allen, okay, or the principles of management by the Malaysian authors, or Bateman and Snell, okay, read the leadership chapters from that book if you can, okay, because that will help you to deal with that question, okay, to deal with the central issue which I have emphasized in this class with regards to the uh, kind of at first learning outcome. Okay, practically uh, nowadays, okay, I mean with regards to leadership, there are the so-called contemporary leadership concepts in which the emphasis of leaders is not, okay, not or kind of less, okay, they are emphasizing less on control, sorry, less on command and control, okay, but more towards serving the people in the organization. So that idea is like very different from last time. Last time, or rather, if you are have been, well, if you are familiar with the old management concepts, theories, last time the idea here is that the followers, okay, the rank and file people in organizations, practically they follow leaders without much question, okay, even if they have questions, but the questions should be bounded, okay, by the imperatives of the business organization. But not anymore, it seems, okay. It seems so. The main idea here is that you need to compare, okay, those two uh, central ideas of leadership concepts, okay. The old leadership concepts or theories is more towards authoritarianism, whereas the kind of more recent leadership concepts are geared towards or at least, okay, if not towards democracy, i.e. democracy in the workplace, they are de-emphasizing the command and control aspects, i.e. authoritarianism in organizations. Okay, so you need to read that chapter on leadership. Okay, so those are the things which will help you to prepare for the midterm assessment, but that is not enough. Okay, reading by itself is not enough, so you need to be able to compose your thoughts. Okay, compose your thoughts. I know that this is quite difficult for you, but you have to do this. Okay, you have to compose your thoughts, put your thoughts in writing. Okay, by focusing on the discussion questions are being revealed to you in the e-lib, so make sure that you prepare, okay, the discussions questions firstly on your own, prepare, okay, write. Obviously you have to write, okay, there's no such thing as like thinking and then forgetting about this. You need to write. Okay, I'm sure that young people like you straight away type, okay, more so because many of you are getting that free tablets, okay, so please do that, okay, start typing. So you need to prepare, okay, by writing, and to develop your thoughts. You have to develop your thoughts with regards to the discussion questions in at the forums at the elite. Develop your thoughts, and then after that, in the forum itself, you share your thoughts, participate in the discussion with your classmates. You need to discuss amongst yourself, right? Discuss amongst yourselves. It is much more than just posting the forum topics, but to be engaged with each other. If you can do that, then you would be optimizing your preparation for the midterm assessment. So, midterm, okay, the aim of the midterm has been explained. CLO1 and CLO3, okay. Then the list of the chapters that you need or you should be reading. Okay, and then of course you need to develop your thoughts because the discussion questions are there at the forums, and then to discuss amongst yourselves, to be engaged with one another, to debate, if you want to use that word, with each other in the pursuit of finding the best kind of solutions to the questions posed in the ELIP discussion forums. So I guess that is, or I suppose that is uh, what I want to say with regards for your midterm, i.e., the preparation for the midterm. Again, I mean, this midterm is not about memorizing, but more towards demonstrating your understanding with regards to the management concepts, okay, principles, functions, and managerial processes of an organization, and of course, your ability to compare the historical development of management concepts to the current modern management concepts. So, all the best to you, and please don't worry too much for the midterm, provided if you have done the necessary preparations. So until next time, all the best.